Good afternoon and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this afternoon. Celtic are no closer to getting in a manager. They're no closer to getting in a... Never finished my tea. Jesus. It's not like me. Anyway, there is an update with regards to some other things when it comes to Celtic Football Club. There's never a dull day when it comes to Celtic, is there? Never a dull day at all. The Green Brigade have made an allegation against Dermot Desmond. Has Dermot Desmond taken things personally, and has Dermot Desmond went over and above what his position entails as the biggest shareholder? He is not the majority shareholder at the club. He is only the biggest shareholder at the club. But before we talk about the Green Brigade, before we talk about the Celtic Trust and other things, I want to talk about the manager's situation. And Celtic are getting left behind. Celtic have been shown once again to be very, very slow. We heard a lot of rumours and hearsay about Michael Nicholson not picking up the phone and things not getting done on time by Celtic. If you remember when Birmingham were going to buy Yang at the later stage of the transfer window, Birmingham pulled the deal. Yang travelled down to Celtic. He was given permission by Celtic to travel down to Birmingham to sign the deal. He signed the deal. He done his medical. They then pulled the plug because Michael Nicholson would not pick up the phone and agree to sign an email for the contract to be done and the money to go through, basically. Norwich have spoken. Now I'm going to talk about Norwich because it all ties in. If you remember a couple of days ago, there was a Celtic backroom staff in Mark Fotheringham was linked with the Norwich job. And that was only days ago. But Norwich have met with John Dahl Tamason in search for their new head coach. There's big competitions for managers in the Championship with Southampton, Swansea, Middlesbrough also looking. But they've also spoken to a couple of other people. Celtic haven't spoke to anyone. We're getting shown up again, and you say, yeah, Celtic's a bigger club and all the rest of it, but if you want to get things done quick, you have people at the club that get it done, and I think that Celtic are too busy trying to do other things, and they're too busy arguing amongst themselves, it seems. Whilst it seems that a certain gentleman in the USA has been given the nod that Celtic are an option to him, he has not been contacted by the club as yet, as members of the hierarchy within the club are reluctant to make a decision on it too quick. Time's running out for Celtic to get the man that they want, if they ask me. Time's running out, and I think that many managers will be thinking, do you know, maybe no. But let's jump over to the North Curve Celtic page, or the lands of the Twitterati, because they've made an allegation towards Dermot Desmond. They've put out on their North Curve Celtic Twitter, they said it should come as no surprise that Dermot Desmond is believed to be behind the current ban of the Green Brigade, pouncing on a trivial incident in order to shut down vocal and visual criticism of him and the Celtic board. Sorry, my throat's gone. Not cold. Any criticism of him and the board at matches. It goes on to say that Dermot Desmond and the Celtic board are nervous at the level of unity and coordination between the Celtic supporters who seek positive change. They are nervous about the progress of the Celtic fans collective. That is why they are seeking to cause distraction and a division within the fan base. And then they have put up quite a lot of pictures of the protests as it's been going over the last couple of weeks. Sack the board. All Celtic fans against the board Celtic board unfit for purpose. And then there is Casper Schmeichel pleading with the fans to stop throwing balls and oranges and fucking all sorts onto the pitch that time. Your silence is deafening. I think that one thing is for sure, knowing the way that Celtic work. I mean, we all know the way that Celtic work. I think the next, don't be surprised if the Green Brigade, the bottom half of the Green Brigade section, gets closed down completely. It will not surprise me one bit if that does happen. Anyway, the Celtic Fans Collective has also sent out an email this afternoon talking about the next meeting. It says, we'd like to invite you to the next meeting of the Celtic Fans Collective on Tuesday the 25th of November at 7 p.m. at Grace's, Glasgow. With the AGM taking place on the 21st of November, we expect this to be the focal point of our discussions alongside ongoing development and structure of the collective, the matters relating to finance and fundraising of the collective. If there are any supporters who wish to attend the AGM, please get in touch as soon as possible. The Celtic Trust can organise this for us. We intend on having a strong collective voice in the room, and we'd encourage you to join us. We'd also welcome any additional agenda items you'd like to see discussed at our meeting at Grace's. Please reply to this email with your suggestions. Since the last meeting, we have planned and carried out our protest action at Dens Park involving various fan groups, Celtic supporters, clubs, CSCs and independent supporters, organised and demonstrated before the Falkirk March, the largest of its kind involving Celtic fans. I think the ones back in the 90s maybe went a little bit bigger before games, but I don't know. Launched Not Another Penny campaign and associated social media activity. Leafleted the home support about the Celtic Fans Collective Not Another Penny campaign. Welcomed the release of the fans survey whilst encouraging Celtic to establish a democratic and representative fan advisory board. Addressed computer share issue which led to problems with the shareholders' proxy votes. Publicly voiced concern with the recent collective punishment of the Green Brigade and confirmed attendance for the arranged meeting on the 2nd to the 12th between Police Scotland, Celtic FC, Fans Collective and the Fair Heard report. We will also be sharing details later today on social media channels about the Scottish Greens 25 price cap incentive, which we hope will attract support from fans groups across Scotland. As always, if any fans are interested in joining our working group to contribute skills to the movement, we'd be delighted to hear from you. The collective continues to grow stronger through the input of members, and we welcome your support. We look forward to the next meeting on the 25th. Again, you're encouraged to attend. A Zoom link will be, and for those unable to be there in person. The Celtic Trust, meanwhile, give a little bit of an update when it comes to the AGM. Celtic PLC AGM update. Representatives from the Celtic Trust met with the Celtic Company Secretary this morning, that's today. We discussed the problems with the AGM voting system as well as our working relationship. We stressed the implications for the integrity of the PLC AGM for the voting issue and proposed that Celtic issue communications informing people how to proxy their vote to the Celtic Trust should they wish to do so. The company secretary informed us that they had already taken steps to resolve the issue, and with those they can identify, but would respond to the Celtic Trust later today regarding any communication to shareholders on the matter. And in the meantime, we look forward to an improved working relationship with us. Bullshit. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying on that. We know the way that Celtic are working. So we're no further forward when it comes to who will be who will be the next Celtic manager? Chris D says Paul Lambert as a manager. He managed in the EPL and won the Champions League with Dortmund. It's never going to happen. Paul Lambert already said a few years back that that he would not manage Celtic. Oh, Michelle, you crack me up. Oh my goodness, that is. In this pish about Dermot shareholding, he and like-minded shareholders own 73% of the shares, which is a majority shareholding control, and he and his son will decide everything. He's not a majority shareholder, and there are two. We've spoke about this before. There are two people at the club. One holds around about £15 million worth of shares, and the other holds around about £5 million worth of shares, and they have nothing to do with Celtic on a daily basis, and they have no voting rights. They just own the shares. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, but that is it. That's the update today. The Celtic manager search goes on. I'm reading a headline. Alan Brazil asked Celtic, who are these people? When it goes to Nancy and Knudsen. This is the same man that blabbed on about Ange Postecoglou. So I'm going to take absolutely nothing that Alan Brazil, who sits... I mean, he was a shite goalkeeper back in the day for Celtic. And he's an even shitter pundit, as they say. But anyway, that is the update this afternoon. Celtic Ultras blame the stadium ban on Dermot Desmond. Is that taking things too personal with the major shareholder, not the owner? He is not the owner, and you can say that all you want, that he's not the owner, because he's not the fucking owner. Simple as that. Never will be the owner. Anyway, that's it for this afternoon. Just a quick one. My throat's still killing me. Thought it was an interesting update. Gives us something to speak about tonight. Anyway, on that note, let's jump into some of the comments. It's going to be Brother Wilfred. Portal open. Why did your message get deleted? No idea. What did you say? Making scran for the Broods. Jeez. Paul Lambert. No. It would make sense keeping Martin O'Neill till Celtic can bed in a new manager. Or would this belittle the manager? And I said that this morning in the video as well. I think it would maybe be a good idea, but any manager that would want to come into Celtic, I don't think that you could have Martin O'Neill there as a management figure. You know, there's not many clubs that have a transition period. I think what we'll be looking at is a transition period to see Martin O'Neill take the final. Whether that would be any man that's coming in as the manager would see that as a, well, I thought I'm coming here to be manager. Do you know, the buck stops with me. Are you going to keep Martin O'Neill here? He wins a trophy. He goes off into the sunset. I take over as manager. Things start to go wrong, and then you start blaming me for things. I don't think that would work. And I know why it's kind of been spoken about, but I don't think it would work at all. Just don't think it would work at all. Anyway, I want the bonnet back. It would be fantastic to have the bonnet back, but you've got to remember, he argued with Tommy Burns quite a lot. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans. All around the world.